We're live.
Oh,
You're back. 2 weeks.
I am back, healthy or as healthy as can be, and hearty. Thanks for all the well wishes.
No.
Tested negative. If everybody wants to know my medical history, but
well,
yeah, no,
I didn't say anything. So, but I was like, at this
No,
point,
it's fine.
at this point in time, everybody's got COVID, right?
It's fine. It's one of those. Am I happy with second place? In this case, I am. Right. If you're going to be sick for a week, this is probably the best case scenario. Welcome to the Mid-Geek crisis.
If you're not first, you're last, sir.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, let's kick this off right.
There you go.
Do you order much things from overseas?
No.
No,
Very rarely.
very rarely. No, you never end up with a random product from China that you're having to deal with.
I mean, have I accidentally ordered things from Amazon that came from China? Yes, but I don't. I don't want to say. Yeah, I pretty much watch where things are coming from now to avoid the international drama of not getting my product.
So is that why you do? Is that why you do it? Or?
Yeah. I mean, there was a time period where we'd order things, and it's 4 to 6 weeks, right? And you wouldn't get it, and it was just trash. So I do it. I feel like there's a story here, though. Is there? Are you fighting an international battle?
I am. I mean, so with the world in chaos with COVID and everything else, there's things. As I'm working with hobbies and whatnot, there are certain things that in many of the hobbies that I work in, you have no choice but to order from overseas. Some of these products don't get made here in the US, and replacement parts or replacement things or whatever. And I placed an order for something April. April, mid-April, and so we are now mid-August, and it hasn't gotten here. And their tracking, of course, is like erroneous. It goes nowhere. AliExpress has marked it as completed.
Dude.
I'm fighting this like language barrier with somebody, and I hate being like the guy that wants to come on. I mean, it's $58.
Sup rolls. Yeah, no, that's big money. That's big money.
Right.
So, and also, you wanted it, right? It's not like
I did. I wanted it.
It's not like
I'm like, give me my $58 back. I'll order it from someone else and pay an extra $10 off eBay and find a local seller or something. I don't know. Either way, welcome to the Mid-Geek Crisis, episode 89.
89.
We are leaving the 80s.
Very soon.
We'll be hitting the 90s next episode.
We're going to do like a retro look back or the 90s. Going to have 90s, a different intro. I see we changed our font. I don't get any of the memos or I don't read them. So I like it. Things all change. And I'm like, oh, look at this. Things changed. That's great.
We're crossing over. We're crossing over.
Yeah, no.
So what have you been up to these past 2 weeks since the show? What have you been? I mean, obviously you were sick and you were cloned a body. You were, in the tanks. They made a new body for you. And then they downloaded your essence into the new,
and that takes time, right? That takes a week or so. Honestly, work has been kicking my butt. If I can complain for a second, playing video games every so often, doing a little bit of Division 2, doing a little bit of bouncing around from game to game. I haven't really found another game to get glommed onto or stuck into lately. And then playing a little bit of D&D. We got D&D this week. Our group is running this Friday, so. That's it. I've been living a very boring and uninteresting life, right? And I'm barely even getting hobbies done.
What is this, Tim? I'm a dictator, so it doesn't matter if you like to change or not. Well, I mean,
no. See, here's the deal. This is if you're a fan of the show, you know this. Joe cares a lot more. Look, I gotta be honest. Like, Joe cares. Joe would send this to me. I'd be like, yeah, it's great. Go for it. Like, he doesn't need my input because he knows what my input is. and it's, do you like it? Great, go for it. Right? I don't really have an aesthetic bone in my body. Like I don't have any input beyond, do you like it? Go for it. So Joe knows this, and it saves us a lot of time, right? Joe doesn't have to seek out my permission or my input on any of these things, because if he wants to change it, he can change it, because I don't have any passion for how it looks. I have passion for the talk and our fans, right? That's what
That's a good man. Good man. Yeah. I will say my neck is making an appearance for the first time in a few months. I got tired. Josh is the manager we all want. That's right. That's right. So yeah, I decided I was done with it.
Yeah, you took the shaver in and down. I'm almost there.
I took a 6 to it, and I was like, I'm done. I was getting a little tired. I'm wearing a mask everywhere, and the mask is starting to like it doesn't matter how nice I style it, no one gets to see it. And then at the same time, I have put the mask on, and then when I take the mask off, I've got this permanent like crease in the beard, and it's terrible. So I was just like, you know what? F it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I do roles. I do. But cautious, I thought you loved this. I do. And that's why I don't put any of my energy into the banners or any of that stuff, because all my energy is just, I got to preserve that love for you also.
He's all about the content. He's all about the verbalization of the content.
If you know what happened behind the scenes, where I'm all like, Joe, what the F are we talking about? What's going on? What are you doing?
Tons of table
are you drawing another banner? What's going on?
What's going on? No, I made these a while back. Some places has been changed. I decided to finally kick out the overlays and try to go all the way with it.
I love it. Stuff.
Yeah. So, man, I feel like last week, if you caught last week got a bit spicy, as the chat was saying. Everyone enjoyed the chat. We got a little argumentative with my guest co-host Steve. He is definitely a PlayStation fan. And,
is he?
I tried to take the middle ground, but I definitely took the opposite end of the spectrum, since he was a PlayStation fan. So I made sure to sprinkle on the Game Pass goodness.
We are Game Pass fans. What are we talking about?
I know, no, absolutely. I'm a Game Pass fan. There's no denying that here. But I'm a Game Pass fan because I don't want to spend money on games.
Yeah, that's true. And I like shopping for games, so it's nice to always be able to get free games, right?
You pull up the marketplace. So yeah. Man, what are we going to start off with? We'll kick off and we'll bleed it in back and forth. It was a slow news week, because the big piece of news that kind of overtook the gaming media is Epic. Can we we can't not talk about this. Wow. Who do we root for here?
When elephants battle, only the grass suffers, right? Who the hell? The amount of ink spilled over this Fortnite versus Apple kerfuffle is astounding. How many game journalists and even business journalists are just pouring ink on a I don't want to say a non-story, but a story that involves a $1 billion company versus a $1 billion company fighting over billions of dollars, right?
I just don't. I don't know, man. So I don't know who I'm going to say I'm going to side with. I hate that I have to say this. I know that I worked for the company, but I have to side with Apple and Epic on this one, only because they laid out the rules at the very beginning, and this wasn't a. Okay, so I guess the best way to put it is.
So we're getting a banner up here that says Joe is siding with Apple, and this would be the 100th time he has sided with Apple for the record.
Right. Shots, right. Take a shot. No, really. Here's the scenario, folks. I would be more on the side of the peppy up and coming company that is really bleeding money, because Apple is bleeding them dry. But when you have a company like Epic that I think, what was it, 12 billion last year?
Yeah.
They made something like 12 billion. And then not only that, this was not they're making it seem like it's some off the cuff revolution, but they had press ready to go. And
the stupid that shots fired advertisement. Put it up.
Yeah. So I have to put this up here. here we've got the let's get that banner off there.
That refresh rate is murderous.
So they thought like this was created, like they put this out immediately the moment Apple took them off of the. And I was like, this was so calculated. It's not even cool.
I mean, I'm sure it's been written somewhere, but the gorgeousness of a billion-dollar company using an advertisement, an old advertisement of a scrappy company trying to take on IBM, right? This advertisement is, I mean, like Apple put out that 1984 advertisement saying, hey, all of you are being controlled by Windows, and they went after them. Now Epic is doing it to Apple, and it's just... But it's just Epic, delicious, dude. It's delicious.
It's delicious.
It's free Fortnite.
What makes me like laugh and cry about this is like, again, this isn't a little indie company, this scrappy-go-lucky company that's trying to fight the big guy. This is a big guy fighting another big guy because they want more money. 70%. Every in-app purchase, if you haven't read the story or understand what's going on here, is when a developer puts up an app on the App Store, okay, there are stipulations. There's a terms and conditions on what you sign to get it on the App Store. One, Apple is very controlling, but that's because they want to make sure that you don't put up anything on there that's going to harm or take any information from the fan. From the like their privacy concerns are huge, way bigger than Google.
TikTok managed to get through their developer screens. So
right. Well, the problem was it wasn't the app that was doing it; it was their servers. So it's a little different there. But yes, the idea here is the information that passes through Apple servers needs to be pretty like watched.
And they charge a very modest 30% of your money to do so. Right? So just a small cut.
You spend $10, you keep $7. Apple keeps $3. For every dollar, it's seven 70 cents. So that's 70%. Now, that said, a lot of developers, I mean, you could say 30% is a lot of money, but at the same time, a lot of these devs, the exposure that Apple gives them,
Vagabond dog.
The exposure that Apple gives them, getting them on a big platform like that is already kind of like that's the price for admission. That said, could there be some rules that need to be changed? Absolutely. The problem is one of the big terms and conditions, writer is that, hey, by the way, if you have your app on our store, if you're going to sell something through your app, it still has to go through, all money still has to go through Apple, because not only that, you have to use our payment services.
Yep. That way we can take our cut.
And at the same time, credit cards and in-app purchases aren't being passed through for through other servers.
That way we can take our cut.
Yes.
Let's be honest. This is about Apple having built a large marketplace, put a huge wall around it, and said, if you want to come in and do business here, we want our cut. I mean, freaking John Gotti did the same thing in Queens, right? Like you just set up a big wall. You can't do business here unless I get my cut. And that's what Apple's doing. Epic said, okay, we'll do this.
Getting to that. We're getting to that. We're getting to the top gamer. For sure.
And Epic said, I'm willing to do this. And now that they're making money, they're like, wait, you know what? I kind of want to pay that cut anymore. So we're going to cut a hole into that wall.
Yeah, but not only that. So here's the best part. The best part was it wasn't like they said, our next update, we're going to do it. No, they hid a line of code in the application, submitted the update. Apple didn't see it. And then it got triggered at a specific time where all of a sudden they literally put another button next to the in-app and said, hey, by the way, if you want to now pay 20% less, so now whatever you pay, $10 gets you 20% more, so 20% less is the price. You can now click on this button. It'll take you to our website and you can buy. You can use purchase that way. So they literally
because you could always buy your V-Bucks via your website using your account. And it will appear on your Apple, right? I mean, you could buy the V-Bucks via your account. It's just only if you buy it through the app, right?
Epic's argument was they wanted to be able to take the money from the people on the application directly and not make them go out. They want them to be able to hit a button. It takes them to their store, not the in-app store. Even though everyone knows, I guarantee you, every kid out there that has Fortnite knows that you can play it on multiple places and you can buy it, or you can go to GameStop or whatever and buy a V-Bucks card or whatever and do it. But they wanted a button there that made them go to their store so
they just want all the money for themselves. Who knows? I mean, Vagabond Dog points it out, right? Who knows when Epic saves 30%, offers customer 20% discount. That's great, but is that going to last forever, or is that only going to last the length of this war?
That is a permanent price reduction right now. That's what they said. It's a permanent price reduction. What does it matter? You give them $10 and they give you now 12 virtual bucks. Ooh, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't cost them anything.
Except it doesn't cost them anything except for when they want that 20% back to give to their shareholders and Tencent, right? Like it doesn't.
But it doesn't, right? So like the idea is I have $20 now. I'm going to spend that 20. I'm going to spend only $10. Oh, well, you know what? Now I get more for 20. Let me spend $20 instead of 10 because I get double the more. I know
how it works. This is
how it works. It's end cap. It's the end cap, man. You put it on the end cap and you go, hey, by the way, you buy 3 of them for $20 versus 2, individually, one for $10. Oh, I get 3, I'll spend $20, but you were only going to buy one anyway.
So Apple kicked them off.
So here's the scenario, right? So I think
that's my favorite. I was like, oh, okay, bye.
The sweetest part about this was that Apple kicked them off, right? So Apple was like, oh, and everyone was like, the headlines immediately fired off. Oh, Apple and Epic was like, oh, we got kicked off, and they fired off this ad and they made this like big Apple thing. It wasn't like an hour and a half to 2 hours later where Google was like, no, you can't do that to us either. And Google, boom, pumped them off the Google Play Store. That doesn't mean that you can't do it. They've been fighting Android. They've been fighting Google for a while. Google didn't want them on the store because of that.
Yeah,
because of purchasing through their store. So the only way that you could get Fortnite on an Android device for a long time was you'd have to go to epic.com, epicgames.com, download this APK file, sideload it, download. Yeah, so updates were harder, but the Google Play Store gives you that instant update, which is why Epic wanted to be on the Play Store. So you see here what's happening is they wanted to be on the Play Store because of the ease of use. Now that Google kicked them off.
Access to instant customers, guarantee of quality of product, all that stuff, why you want to pay that. So here's the Epic fight.
Here's Tim coming in a week and a half later with Apple got rid of Fortnite?
Go Apple, bravo. I mean, they got rid of Fortnite. You could still play it. So all the parents that might be watching this that are worried that their kid's going to murder them because they can't play Fortnite, you could still play it. It's just when Epic eventually drops that patch, Fortnite will no longer be compatible, right? So as long as it hasn't been patched, they can still play it on their iPhones.
Hold on. Let me put tinfoil hat time. I really got to get
we do have to get like a graphic.
A graphic. We need a graphic for it. Tinfoil hat time, guys. Let's put it on Illuminati time. Vagabond, you are absolutely correct on this. The timing seems a bit ominous, especially with the TikTok, especially with Huawei. All of these different companies, are being what was it, WeChat? They're dealing with WeChat right now as well. There's all sorts of.
So Vagabond is saying, do you think this, or at least the timing, has anything to do with the executive order that USA can't do business with Tencent, right? So. As Joe's saying, yeah, absolutely. And at the same time, it ain't going to happen, Chief. Tencent is too ingrained in all of our media. You're talking about what? You can't do business with Tencent, so that means you can't do business with Disney or ESPN or all of these American. I'm pretty sure the Murdoch company, which is Fox News and all that, probably has some big sharehold with Tencent. I mean, they're a big giant media corporation. That's where Tencent makes its money. There's no way that's going to fly. So, yeah. I mean, we've talked about the conspiracy theory. As long as everybody's making money. It's not going to fly. But if people stop making money, then we'll figure out how to fix that. Meanwhile, has there been doxing? Have the Fortnite children risen up with pitchforks and torches and destroyed SD?
So, I have to bring back this particular comment here. And biggest issue here is that Epic weaponized gamer rage in the year of our Lord 2020, as though the past 4 years of toxic gaming didn't exist. Exactly. This is nail head.
Has it been 30 years of toxic fandom? I guess yeah. Read the letters page in Nintendo Power. We'll see how angry they were.
Right. So with internet, with weaponized, I mean, that's what we're doing with the age of 4chan, with the age of doxing, with the age of internet rage comes weaponization. Like we happen all the time. Gamergate, I mean, anytime one developer does something in a game that they don't like, they'll find them and they'll post pictures of their kids, their family. They do awful, awful things. Gamers, and I'm going to use the term loosely because I don't want to classify them as my people, even though they sadly are. Like, but they shouldn't be.
We're amongst them. We're associated with them. Yeah,
I hate it. I hate that people think gamers as toxic and nasty when I'm one of them. And so yes,
I mean I am toxic and nasty, but I'm trying to be better. I'm trying.
We all try to be better, Caution.
We try to be better.
The scenario here is we don't want to weaponize them. They're awful. They don't understand the issue. They're like blunt instruments. They don't get the politics on this. They don't understand. All they
want to do is buy this next stupid dance or their most ridiculous outfit, right? That's what it's all about.
Yeah. That said, Batman and the Joker is on Fortnite right now as a skin.
So we know that DC is aligned with Fortnite in the battle against Apple. Is that
right?
Is that right? Lining up all these properties?
So is Marvel because Thanos was in there. Thanos was in it, and a Deadpool, and the NFL has skins on there as well. I mean, like you name it, just Stranger Things, all of it. Star Wars. I mean, they all have skins on there, and it's interesting. Really, I
feel like you just only named like Disney properties there, but I guess there was one in there that wasn't. I don't know.
The NFL? Is that not?
I don't know. They're on ESPN. So
yeah, which I don't know. Which is all 10 cent, baby.
It's all 10 cent. There you go.
It's all 10 cent. It's all 10 cent. Oh man.
What a terrible world we live in, right? Where so we're old enough, you and I. Maybe I'm old enough to remember when we didn't like corporations, right? We didn't. Microsoft was spelled with the $sign on the S, right?
Oh yeah.
We were stupid. We thought we can be snide about these corporations that we were forced to do business with. Now people are lining up to battle in the trenches for Apple and Epic, right? It's a weird.
I mean, my 401k is with one of those, so like I have to side, like my shield and sword are there. Like I'm totally like, I mean, I got it.
So that is inherently the problem, right? Right there is the problem. Your 401k still with Apple? Get it out of there.
No, did you see their stock? It keeps going up. It's split.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to talk. You should still feel bad about it.
I should feel bad, but you know what? I'm gonna rub those dollar bills all over my chesties. Like, come on.
People wonder why I'm so full of rage. It's exactly this.
I mean, look, I fight the good fight, but at the same time, there are parts of me that I am a capital.
You're a grown man with a family.
How? Yeah.
That's true.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's true. So here it is. If you've grown up in the modern age, where does culture come from apart from companies? It's a really dystopic viewpoint, Vagabond Dog. And
I mean, you are absolutely right. That is culture there, especially us. I mean, this whole show is I mean, a big part of my chunk of making this show is nostalgia. Nostalgia is a very important affect, and at the same time, it is part of our culture, and it is one of the strongest pulls. And honestly, when I think of nostalgia, for me, growing up in the 80s, I mean, capitalism was huge. I mean, it was the golden age of it, like advertisement. I mean, companies, I mean, you name it, all I can think about are like, oh man, what does nostalgia bring? I think of Coca-Cola, I think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think of cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons, and products and things that I used to eat, and MTV age, and music studios, and all of this in movies and all that. That's all
graffiti on subways, man. It's
yeah.
And Saturday morning cartoons.
You know where I saw that? I saw that in the very popular movies that I would watch because I didn't live in New York.
Very popular movies I would watch. Fair. How you say? Yeah, there's that. I feel like I don't want to say with cutting the cord, right? I don't get as many advertisements at all as I used to, right? I don't have the same sort of interaction with marketing that I used to. I mean, it's targeted to cautious clay, right? I don't have an online identity with my real name, and that's nice. I also look at my kid who does not ever watch commercials or any of that nature, right? There's no YouTube in her life. There's no way for her to get direct advertising.
She totally gets upset when it's a longer than like a split second.
Yeah, no, she can't manage it at all. We're doing a weekly thing on some of our TV shows for family TV night, and she hates it, right? She wants to binge all the time. But at the same time, she's not begging me for McDonald's like I begged my mom for, right? She doesn't have that same sort of corporate connection. So maybe we'll come around again, Vagabond, right? Like some of these kids have cut the cord, and their relation to corporations might be different because they didn't grow up with the amount of advertising that we have.
But it's been reassociated, right? Like we can say, like we grew up with advertisement. I mean, we know jingles. Jingles are part of our our nomenclature, right? Like thinking back about products, we can immediately think of a product, a logo, a jingle, a color, a flavor, a scent. I mean, a holiday is associated with Toys R Us, is associated with Macy's Day Parade, which is associated with the next music. I mean, all that stuff is associated with our culture.
Yeah,
they might be disconnected from that, but to them, the difference is Netflix. They know Netflix. Netflix, that logo is synonymous. That red.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That is their McDonald's. Hulu, the green logo, the color green, the text that is Hulu. They know it. They know these logos. They just see it differently. We're used to seeing that blast of like, oh, what's the new toy in the Happy Meal this week from the cartoons that we would watch with the advertising in the middle. But now they just get blasted with binging, like you said, the binge.
It's the binge that it's all about now. It's a sort of an interesting kind of. It's kind of interesting because my daughter will just binge the same show over and over. I'm like, you gotta explore, do something else, enjoy other things.
Also, Netflix is a product of us. So like my kids, and we've talked about this before early on in the early episodes, where my kids like binge shows that I watched. Like they're watching, kind of, but like I let them watch Netflix, and they're like, my kiddo went on a 2-week rampage on Transformers. Like he was like, I want to watch this. I want to watch the old one. He watched the new ones. He watched G1, the show. He watched all that, and it wasn't I didn't do anything. It was because Netflix had it. He decided to watch it, and then he decided to binge it. Yeah. Or my youngest is like, I'm all about Ghostbusters, and I'm like, kiddo, Ghostbusters hasn't been on TV in years, but like somehow or another he knows all the episodes to the real. Yeah, the real Ghostbusters, the '80s cartoon, is on Netflix. So what does he watch? That's how he binges it.
That's funny. It doesn't even show up as an option for my kiddo, right? It doesn't even show up because she's watching other shows.
Right. So the algorithm. She might watch one show.
It's literally what's going to kill us is the algorithm. So yeah, that's where we are. The algorithm and the epic Apple fight that no one cares if they win or not. Ever wonder why sports teams now sell for billions when they were millions 10 years ago? You're hitting the nail on the head with this conversation. Sports are the only thing that advertisers are paying big bucks for, solely because they're the only live TV people are watching anymore.
That is genius.
So
you're absolutely right. When I watch TV, actual live TV, it's a sports, it's a football game or a basketball game, and the commercials in between the timeouts or whatnot are where the advertising is the strongest. I know the newest, insurance commercials and the newest car commercials and the newest beer commercials because those are the ones associated with sports, and at the same time those are the ones that are being put in between. I know all the mascots to your cell providers and your insurance people. I know all those because that's what's targeted.
It's all live sports. Sure,
all live sports. So
sure. So do we the Hulu ads, or those? I don't even know because I pay the extra to get rid of those.
I pay the extra for that. Yeah. So, but I'm talking like my kiddos will watch sometimes. Like there's like the occasional like the Disney Channel app or the Nickelodeon app, and so to get those, you have to watch like a couple of ads to get a certain episode. Like,
oh really?
Yeah. So if you're not paying, even if you're paying for a subscription, like for example, we don't watch live TV anymore, but we still have a login through our family sharing and whatnot. We have a cable login, so we log in and we can watch like HGTV, for example. So,
all right.
The entire season of a show.
You're watching the cable version of Disney.
Right.
Disney.
So the episodes are there, and the commercial breaks are still there, but the commercial breaks are now like watch 2 ads, 3 ads for the commercial, and it's always the same 3 ads or 4 ads.
Yeah, I see that. The Hulu era has not changed, right? Hulu ads are now 85% Progressive Insurance, which they were, I think, 5 years ago, right? They were always. It seems like it's always been.
But it really depends, because I'm sure Hulu knows that you're a male and you're a certain age, and so insurance is targeted to people of our age. Where I'm sure if there was some sort of box that you might have ticked at one point in time, where it's now it changes the ad for someone else. Like it's
the algorithm.
The algorithm is crazy. So yeah, I mean it's funny that we talk about this, but I mean big corporations and gaming are synonymous now, and nostalgia is part of all of that. So yeah.
Nostalgia, yeah. I mean, there's that. There's the nostalgia part of it. I think nostalgia is something that kicks in. A feeling of nostalgia and a yearning to go back kicks in often in times of big stress, right? So, like, we want to that Make America Great campaign was sort of perfect 4 years ago, again, because we felt like things were off kilter. And now it would be even more perfect now, and it might be more effective now because things are as awful as can be. We all yearn for a very simple time where we can go to the goddamn movies without worrying, right? So I think there is a real shit show feeling for wanting to yearn back and go back to the nostalgia feelings. That's always there, right? Before terrorists, back when we fought the commies, wasn't it so much better when like the enemy was clear? It was the Soviets, and we
wait. Are you telling me that he brought Russia back for that reason?
It's all been a big.
Oh, no, it's still cheating.
It's all been a big
communism.
So I mean, yeah. So let's play video games and read books and enjoy company, right? That's what we got to keep doing. Being kind.
Nostalgia has been a big one this week for me. I mean, judging from the TVs and whatnot, all of that. This week was interesting. I had a friend. Again, you will know this story well because you did it to me. You were like either moving or you had a big box of stuff that you were like, I got to get rid of this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a family friend go, hey, we've got I've got 3 MacBooks that I'm gonna either donate or whatever. Do you want them? And I was like, yeah, send them my way. I always need them for parts or whatever when I'm doing repairs for people. And sure enough, there were three MacBooks that were 2009 upwards, and
still selling for $1,000 each.
Right, they sell for a good amount, and I've restored a bunch of them. I got them all working, and I've been just kind of piecing stuff together, and that's what I've been doing. I've been at the same time, because I started working on those. I finally finished my Windows 98 gaming machine, and I sent you a picture of it.
Yeah, no, that's an important gaming machine, the Windows 98 gaming machine. Yep.
Yeah, I loaded up Dune 2.
I saw the disc for Dune 2 in that picture. The more you looked at that picture, the more weird it got.
So I know I've got Doom 2. No, I installed Dune.
Dune, like Dune 2000? Or?
Yes, the RTSs. So I got those RTS. I installed some XCOM.
XCOM is brilliant.
UFO Defense. I installed some XCOM UFO Defense. I installed, what else did I install? I've installed some Prince of Persia 1 and 2. So
1988 was a fantastic year for gaming. Vagabond, I mean, arguably the greatest time for gaming was the 90s, right? The greatest time to be alive was in the 90s, right? As we're going to do nostalgia right now. Let's just say it. It was the greatest time, the 90s.
Yeah.
Best music, best video games, best movies.
My wife would disagree with you on the music genre, but we always have this fight, so I like that.
Right, but she's a huge Creedence Clearwater Revival fan.
Oh! Shots fired! Shots fired. Hopefully she watched that or listened to that. Oh, boy. Yeah, she is definitely not a fan of the CCR, for sure.
Yeah, but I know everybody's musical weaknesses, though. That's Yes, right. So that's the band in the 90s. Really thought you were going to say she was a huge Creed fan. No, you got to switch it up.
Yeah, 98, man. You're absolutely right. If you want to talk about a year, 1998, definitely Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Half-Life, wow. StarCraft, I just installed StarCraft. Grim Fandango, yeah. Rogue Squadron, wow.
Yeah, my GPA took a dive. Like, just the amount of breaking particular year. Was StarCraft
Simon and Garfunkel? Our fans don't forget. They never forget.
This is why we have fans, man.
We have fans. They know Simon and Garfunkel. God. And a copy of The Graduate, right?
Was StarCraft 97 or 98? StarCraft was that 97 or 98? Oh, there we go. I tease because I love, right? That's how. I don't know how else to show it. I wasn't hugged enough when I was little. I tease. That's
you were given the wrong costume at Halloween.
given the wrong costume. This is how we show love.
That's how we show love. No, yeah, like what? Yeah, man, like nostalgia is interesting, and like I said, I was installing all these games for Windows 98, and yeah, man, that's what I've been doing all week. I've been playing like old games. Like I got an XP machine too that I've been working on, so 98 and XP, and I'm just kind of building up.
A security holes in XP, just to let you.
I'm not a tangent or anything, but I figure we can kind of run into multiple topics with this. But sure. There is a definite struggle that I'm new to. Like as much as I love nostalgia, I haven't dove into building a machine like this. Windows 98 and Windows XP are old enough that they're end of life to the point where like they're not supported by anything, but new enough that you can still do things that are modern. Like for example, Windows 98 machine could still go online, but good luck trying to find a browser that can go online on Windows 98. Oh my God!
I didn't consider that. Yeah, no,
you can't open up anything. Like none of the browsers work. Trying to find a browser, there's a bunch of like offshoot ones that might work and might not. But then once you like load
I'm
them,
surprised there isn't some sort of like Opera community out there that has.
Oh, there is.
Okay,
there is. But even they say like these machines, like at this point they're like don't even browse the net. Like use another machine to browse the net, but use this for like that particular purpose.
Yeah.
Like oof. Man, yeah, yeah, exactly. Shout out to all the websites that don't use JavaScript. Yeah, JavaScript, man, holy moly! Like these new websites just like dump on these browsers, and they cringe. These old machines, like they're like running all peppy and stuff, and then you load a new modern website to it, and it's like it just sees it. You don't understand how much processing power your computer does
these days. They don't know what it was like to receive data over a modem, and you had to have the website set up a certain way. Anything ridiculous like that. Did you install it with floppies, CDs? Were you running it like the airlines with the?
Thank you. You brought that up. No, man. So let me show you this piece of weird tech to show you how the community kind of is. This piece of tech right here. This right here. It's made by a company called GoTech.
Okay.
And, it is a floppy drive, right?
Oh my God.
It has a floppy drive connector, but it's got a USB stick on the front.
Oh, okay.
What it does is you on your normal computer, you grab a USB stick and you format it, and you then create folders 1 through 999, whatever, and in each folder contains an image of a floppy drive.
Okay. All right.
So then you stick the stick in here, and you can have a little piece of paper printed out what you put on it, what folder, and then when you stick it in here, you drop it in there, and then you hit the button and you toggle. So let's say you say, oh, this game is on install disk 10, and then disk 2 is on disk 11. So you just go click click, and it's like switching the disk out. Click click.
Oh my gosh.
So this is it. Like and this works on anything that has a floppy drive, including a Boeing. Like if you plug this into a Boeing, yeah. People were talking about it. That conversation or that news story brought me through like a big loop around, which led me to this. These are apparently very popular with MIDI keyboards, or big MIDI grand pianos. Those pianos that play music automatically. Yep. They still use floppy disks to load the MIDI tracks, and so they'll install one of these and a USB stick, and then they can change the tracks without having to use floppy disks.
That is amazing. The
amount of effort to kind of keep things running. So yeah, they'll install this on Amigas, on Commodore.
Yeah, Dr. J versus Larry Bird on my computer on that, using that. Break the backboard and the janitor comes out.
Oh my God, that's right.
I'll never forget, because I was like, what did I just do? Oh my God.
The janitor comes out, yells at you. Yeah. Oh man, I'm going to install that.
You should install it.
I was playing I sent a clip to Cautious before the show that I was installing Warcraft 2.
Warcraft 2, which like Warcraft 1 or Warcraft 3, but 2, that's like not the strongest.
Really? I thought 2 was better than 1, definitely.
I mean, it was more of 1, right?
More of 1, right?
More,
yeah. And
3 was the best by far, right? I mean, at leaps and bounds, 3 was the best. But I guess it's not 98, right? That's what, 2004, 3?
What? Warcraft 2? Oh,
Warcraft.
Yes. Warcraft 3 was definitely in the XP era.
Yeah. Sure. It was well
for sure. DirectX, XP. That'll be installed on another machine for sure. I'm installing these because
got 12 monitors. You can just
we counted them before the show. There's 12 screens in here, by the way. No, but I was thinking about it. First off, yes, retro gaming in general, but it was definitely one of those. I have a big memory as a kid playing some of these older games, but I realized that I can't play them anymore. Like, yeah, there's websites. I mean, we talk about Humble Bundle, we talk about itch.io, but there's also GOG. That's awesome. And what's great about GOG is it's kind of like Steam, but different in the sense that you buy a game and they're giving it to you free of DRM. And there's whole projects on how to install GOG games on, like, take it, burn a copy or whatever, and then install it on a 98 machine or a 95 machine or a DOS computer. And man, having to like dig into my brain on like setting up a Sound Blaster Pro on DOS with an autoexec.bat and setting the IRQ and the CMA.
Sound Blaster Pro, like no flashbacks, no.
Yeah, totally.
I don't have sound, and you spend the next 3 days trying
messing with your autoexec, and you're like, what? It's on interrupt 5? I didn't know that. What? I got a conflict. What with my mouse?
Going to Radio Shack and yelling at the guy, why doesn't my fucking sound work?
I feel like you talked about that.
Huh?
I feel like that might have been a conversation you might have had at one point.
I have Radio Shack for sure, yeah. That was the place where you bought all the parts, right? That was the
your floppies melt in the sun. Oh my god.
Oh, so good.
So with nostalgia and all of that, we're going to dive into another part of the conversation. Summer's going on right now, and one of the big things on summer is GDQ.
Yes.
Games Done Quick is going on right now. And if any of you guys are familiar, ladies and gentlemen, are familiar with GDQ, it is a charity. It is a charity, and it's also kind of like, it's usually done live. Right now, I don't know if they're doing it live or not, but so one of the big things about GDQ is it's when it is done live, it's usually the big crowd, and then one person, a speed runner, somebody will show up. And the idea is that they're trying to beat records or beat a game at a specific time. And so right now, live, this person is running through Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess as fast as he can, the HD. Yep. And they usually have like the world record going down here. And sometimes it's beat the game in whatever means necessary, right? So sometimes it's no glitch runs, or sometimes it's like as fast as you can, no matter what. And so watching the videos of certain games like Ocarina of Time, doing a speed run of that, it's nuts. You're like doing all sorts of mechanics that you never would have.
Yeah, and you know all the shortcuts. You're cutting all the corners, and it's a. If you've never watched anyone do that stuff, which I think all of our fans have, right? I think it's crazy to watch folks play the games at that level. I think, and it's always fun to like watch it played at that level, and that focus, where you're like, I've never even thought of doing that, or oh my god, I had no idea you could do that. Even years later,
one of my favorite communities on the Twitch, when you go to Twitch in general and watch community, seeing speedrunners practice, like they'll turn on their camera and run through a stream. And like, for example, I'm just going to put this up in the background, but this is an example of a speed run where Ocarina of Time 100% beaten in 3 minutes 43 seconds.
Oh my gosh! So,
most of the time, if you're not familiar, they'll usually pick a version of the game, like for example, one of the popular ones is the Korean one, because the text comes up quicker. So it's you're shaving off milliseconds. That's all that milliseconds. And so you'll see here on the left-hand side that this is how long it takes. Like that's the marker. So at 5 minutes, or at so this is 3 hours, right? 3 hours and 43 minutes. This is a full. So it's at 5 minutes, at 9 minutes, at 12 minutes, at 14 minutes. This is what it takes. This is the markers that they have to hit to get to those spots.
To get to the world record. So they've got to have the boomerang in 52 minutes.
Yes, in 15 minutes they gotta have the boomerang, and then from there it's Ganon.
That's crazy. Also, this game still looks great 10,000 years later.
Right. So this is a 100% run, which means that they have to get everything. So there are other speed runs where it's glitched, right? So they'll like go through and clip through and get into parts of the game where they're not supposed to, and they end up beating Ganon without being an adult, and makes no sense.
I've tried this multiple times. It turns out that my heart can't take it, right? Like I've tried to do speed runs on like Braid to get the achievements, or other games where like Guacamelee is another good one that has a lot of good like ways you can beat it fast, and I'm just not good enough. I can't do the memorizations for that long. Like memorizing everything you have to do for 3 hours and 43 minutes is it's usually too long for me.
And what's great is this particular one doesn't have a camera. Usually it's got the person playing, the camera going there, and they'll be like, they're like 40 minutes into the game or an hour into the game, and they mess something up, and you just see them hit the reset button and start over. And I'm like, oh, what? I don't understand. Like you're not even playing it, like you're just playing it for the time. You're just shaving milliseconds off. You're like,
but I mean, have you never tried to do like a no-hit run, like Streets of Rage? I've tried to do the no-hit run on a level. The minute you get hit, reset. The minute you get hit, reset. Like you just got to keep trying to do it, memorizing the patterns and stuff like that. So, by the way, I have not gotten that Streets of Rage 4 no-hit.
No. I'm pretty good at Streets of Rage 4, but not that good. But yeah, let's see if we can. I'll just fast forward. So, by the way, this is 30 minutes in, and he's already an adult. Like, if that says anything, I don't know how about you, but it takes me like 5 hours to get to adult Link, which means that you have to get the first 3 spiritual stones to pull the sword. So, like, that was 30 minutes into the speed run.
Yeah, because they know where to go. They know what to do.
I mean, like, that's amazing, though.
Like, I don't get distracted. Like, often I wind up going down tunnels. I forget exactly where to go. So that's what they're doing right now. Games Done Quick going out right now. Find charity. What do they support with their charity? What do they?
It depends.
What's this year's support?
The streamer can choose what charity. So it's pretty much all about that. And the idea is the watchers, you as a watcher, donate. So you're donating money. You're throwing money at them to do this. Like, oh, beat this record, or oh, that was amazing. You throw a tip, and that money goes towards the charity. So the reason I bring this up, not just because A, it's really fun to watch, is B, go watch, go check it out, and you can take a look and find something fun. But yeah, this is it right here. Like, this is at the 19-minute mark is when he hits adult Link. So I can't even.
That is a lot of.
Like the muscle memory of like going through the menus and whatnot is nuts.
Gotta shave off those seconds. Currently, it's Doctors Without Borders. Thank you, Adam, DJ, Brett.
Yeah, Doctors Without Borders is definitely one of them for sure that they'll do. So
that's So that's a great thing. The community is always pretty fun. Having watched live speed runs at PAX East, right? Because sometimes they'll do live speed runs right there with a big crowd. They're usually, when we talk about toxic gamers, I don't want to say there's no toxic gamers amongst that community, but I've always enjoyed watching them all. The sort of spirit of cheering each other on to beat those records and things like that's always fun. That's what the gaming's about for me. For that perspective, right? And the GoldenEye community, of course, there's still people out there. Perfect Dark, I think, has a community that works that really hard at Perfect Dark as well.
Yeah. That's right. CRISPR just did the Subliminal one. I was watching that earlier. That is a nuts run. If you're not familiar with that game, that's a game all about perspective. You'll pick up something and move it a specific way, and the way it looks, all of a sudden it's bigger, and then you walk through, and it's just this weird type of game that frankly it's like Portal in the like you have to think in a very different non-linear fashion.
Sure.
Oh my god, that's how you could tell that it's been a long time that I've been sitting in this chair since March. Is my actuator's already gone, so if you notice, I
was like, "Are you shrinking? What's happening?"
My actuator on my chair is gone bad already. So I'm in.
Is that the part you're waiting on from?
No. It will be for sure. They've already reached out to me. They're gonna send me another one. So I thought that was pretty nice.
That's awesome. You could tell the difference, right? He's got Apple money. Mine. This is a college found piece of equipment, right? Like free. Zero bed bugs. Right?
Allegedly. There was one other time. Oh, where would
I should mention before the drop, I did drop Kickstarter.
There we go.
Forge. As we talk about saving money, this is why I save money, right? So, Dwarven Forge is having their latest Kickstarter. It's the Wildlands. It is gorgeous 3D terrain. If you're into that tabletop gaming stuff, definitely luxury gaming on their end. Their top pledge amount is $6,700 for everything. And that's not even everything available. It's just everything in the 3 sets.
And I'm going to call him out. Cautious is a backer. Is what
That money, I put it in my mouth and I spend it. I'm definitely in there 14 days. I mean, this is.
You wish to know of danger? To the east.
Is the audio coming in?
Yeah, it's coming in for me. I hope it's coming in for everyone else.
It's the cold ridges of the.
This is how you play D&D, folks. This is big money D&D or tabletop in general.
I like to call it luxury D&D, grown-up D&D. If this is what you like to spend your money on.
Is the danger.
Oh, I can't wait to build some terrain like that. That outdoor stuff. I already have most of the mountains, but nothing that elaborate. So it's kind of funny because even though I'm kind of like going to take a big break.
Wildlands by Grandeur Forge. This is our brand new collection of
Nate?
wilderness
That's Nate.
designed to enhance your storytelling.
You got this card right there. That's amazing.
This 3 distinct biomes.
So close it. It's yeah. So the top bid is $7,000, but they've got some nice low end bids if you're just looking for trees. If you're looking to play a little war game terrain, things like that, it's pretty neat. So yeah, I skipped the last Kickstarter and now I'm in this one for the record.
Oof, look at this thing.
Full of our usual features.
Ah,
LEDs and anchor magnets.
Oh, dude.
Magnets. How do they work? How do they work?
We're gonna get floating platforms, dragons, light up things. It's it's.
For faster building.
Oh, dude, I love it.
Impressive scenes. We've created tons of
This is
scatter-based terrain that works equally well in an RPG build.
Yay!
In Battlefield.
That's literally how I play with them now, right? I set up a bunch of terrain. Yep.
We found
a tree.
We're here on Kickstarter, so we can bring this epic wilderness to
Dude,
life.
I love their product. And Nate is such good people, too. He's always very exciting.
They're already up to $2.5 million. So if you like joining a
sure thing
that will deliver, and they always deliver, even if they deliver a little late. But their terrain is a lot of fun. That's cities. They've done a bunch of. I actually have them all except for the hellscape. I'm going big on the paint. Everyone on there is awesome. So yeah, it's good.
So are those the hand painters?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
If you want to create your own unique paint scheme.
And there's some. Not me, right? I don't have the time to paint, but and this is another thing I just want to say. For the mid-geekers that have kids,
yes.
my kid has kicked it around. I've put it out for kids to play with in like a kid party, like a play date, and left the room because I know there's no way they can break any of the core components.
If you're running sessions online, use our terrain to build custom virtual maps.
Custom virtual maps. That's
for the first.
I can't even.
Well, because they know everybody has to play online. Yeah, so
right.
It's good stuff. I didn't want to show. I want to show it.
Like I've got to pimp it up.
It's a 7-minute video, man.
Well, I mean, it's showing what it is. Like this is. I think it's important to show it. Like I've
done this with the fly-in where you have the terrain and you can sort of fly it in as you go. They also offering a fog machine this year, which is whatever. I get it, dude. You vape, but still.
What? What? Fog of War? Dude, that's great.
It's good. You see it on the Critical Role. If you're a fan of the Critical Role, they put this terrain out there. It's all like it's not 3D printed, right? So they hand carve it and then they get a big machines. This is what the cost involved is making those big
molds. They got to make the molds.
Steel molds to make the cuts. And it's just a lot of fun to play on. And if you don't do D&D, you can do war games, right? So if you play Warhammer 40K or Warhammer Fantasy or any of those war games, this terrain's great for it. I'm in it for my standard Dwarven Forge amount this time around. But yeah, good luck playing with it after Swallow. Thankfully, my kids were allowed to. My kid and her friends weren't allowed to play with it until I knew they wouldn't swallow the miniatures. But I did discover a few
You know what?
magnets.
I guarantee you, though, it'll pass right through just fine.
Because it's made of carbonite, right? There's no
either that or a tree will get stuck sideways, and then you requires you, the viewer, to pay for that surgical.
No. It's good. It's good fun, man. I love setting it up. I don't know. I have. Let's see, you can't see it. I should put up some pictures, but I got a nice mountain range set up back there because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to buy, how many mountains I wanted to buy this time around. So, very excited for that particular Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's a great. And again, they're a good company. They're a small company too, so they're as much, even though they're ranking in 2-point-something million. That money goes towards like the creation and the molding and all that. And so it's not very easy if you don't hop onto one of these Kickstarters. It's not easy to get some of these pieces after the fact. Yeah,
the items have become so boutique now that I think if you want it, do the Kickstarter. It's what I learned. I didn't do part of the Kickstarter last year, and I'll never see that terrain.
So here's a question, and because all communities like this, like the Lego community, etc., are there now vintage parts that have gone up in value?
I don't know about up in value, but they definitely are. I mean, I know their original resins are almost impossible to get, and there are collectors specifically focused on collecting those resin ones. For these particular Kickstarters, I don't know how saturated it is, right? Like everyone who got a set, everyone who wanted a set probably has a set. But there's some resale, right? I have a bunch of pieces that I'm looking to sell or will be looking to sell soon. So it's just because I have too many of the same copies. But I don't really follow it because I don't really want to sell my stuff. I don't really want to buy more stuff, right? So I do. I try to keep it limited though. I try to save it for just the Kickstarter so the money goes to the developers, right? There used to be a lot of price gouging, but now it isn't so much. I almost did the spit. You did that banner. I love it so much.
I love that banner so much.
You got like a quick key for it. It comes up so well.
Well, on this show, we talk about it quite often.
You cannot. Sadly, you cannot divorce gaming from capitalism, right? They are
synonymous, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, all you can do is you can do the same thing that maybe a lot of people that care about the environment want to do. They kind of like carbon offset in a way is the best as you can. It's that offsetting, right? Like
you also endorse indie gaming, right? It's a great place to go buy games.
That's where I was going. That's what I was doing. I was like, if you want to spend, you're going to give money because you know what, you really do want that Fortnite skin. So be it. No one, we're not going to shame you.
I will judge. Joe
will judge. I my kiddo asked for the Batman skin recently, so I was like, we'll talk about it. And
no son of mine is going to wear a Batman skin.
But it's DC, man. I gotta give him props where they go. But at the same time, I do Humble Bundle. I do lots of things like that where I give money to the charities and I make sure that I choose my charity.
Itch.io games for sure.
Itch.io games, etc. So yeah, absolutely. I wanted to bring something up that we had talked about on the show. We talk a lot about digital and physical. We talked about it a lot last week with kind of the way modern gaming in the new generation is going, where physical collecting is going to go away. We've talked about it. One of the games that we talked about was Scott Pilgrim. The Scott Pilgrim game, there's some new news that came out, and I want to kind of bring that up.
Can you bring it back because I feel like I missed it.
So, so we've talked about this before about last week on the 12th. Kotaku put up this article that said delisted Scott Pilgrim game still MIA, frustrating creators and fans. So if you're unfamiliar with this game, you should really look it up. It is a fantastic beat 'em up.
I played it for like a minute, never got to play it again.
Very in the vein of River City Ransom, of Double Dragon, etc. It's got a great soundtrack. The art was done by
some animations. Yep.
Very, very good animation. It was put out by Ubisoft and it was partnered up with Universal. So Universal, it was part of the movie. Ubisoft had it, the licensing for the movie. Brian Lee O'Malley is the creator of the comic book, but he has no control over the property for the game. So the situation here is this is a well-loved game. It came out and then it went away. the time range of this game was, I think, 4 years. It was only out for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Where you really see that and you go, oh, 4 years? Well, that's a long time, but not really. When you think about a game like a 4-year mark, you might still be getting an update here or there, or a DLC, or you might have
it's not even the life of the console. It should be out at least for as long as the console.
But it didn't. It came out mid-life of the PS3, Xbox 360, and then it went away. It got delisted before the death of those two consoles. So it was 2011 to 2014, if I'm not mistaken, is the listing of this game. So 2015 was the new console release. 2005 was the release of the Xbox 360. So it came out pretty late. But again, my point is we talk about that, about collecting physical and right. Thank you, Vagabond. You pulled that up. Anamanaguchi for soundtrack, and Paul Robertson pixel art. Amazing pixel art. He's renowned.
I recall the moments I got to play this game,
and it's just got a very likable.
So is it coming out again, or is it just gone?
So there's been a lot of back and forth. The creators like, hey, I want this game. I have no control over the game's release. I have no control. Universal has part of it. Ubisoft has part of it. Even though these are my characters, I can't do anything with it. The music, the licensing, all that. So when it got pulled, it was because of licensing issues with Universal and Ubisoft. The license didn't get renewed or whatever. And so now the game is in limbo. Here's this wonderful game that no one can play unless you bought it, and then you can re-download it if you still have the digital license. But you have to pull out your 360. You can't even play it on backwards compatible.
Interesting.
So it's been kind of a random conversation. He keeps Brian keeps messaging Ubisoft like, hey, what is it? And then it fell through and never heard back. Well, apparently Kotaku put up an article last week. It's like, hey man, this was a great game and we constantly bring it up, but like, what's going on? Where is it? This is frustrating for fans. Like, this doesn't look like an old game. This is a game that's perfect for Switch.
Yeah, looks great.
Perfect for new
right in line with the generation of games we're playing right now. So,
right. I mean, they're missing out. It's money left on the table for the license holders. It makes no sense. So Kotaku put up a big old piece on it, and sure enough, apparently Ubisoft reached out. And so in a cryptic tweet, it's like, Ubisoft has reached out to me. That's the update. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Ubisoft is like, we'll do anything to try and repair our reputation with the community. Please,
please
give us an opportunity to do something.
Right, exactly. But it's such a cool looking game. It's got, good soundtrack, good power-ups, kind of a progression of.
I want to play it right now. I'm upset that I can't play it right.
Yeah, it's got co-op. It's got online co-op too. So like 2 players. It had a DLC. So I own the game on my PS3.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot to buy the DLC, and the DLC has 2 extra characters, and I can't buy the DLC now. So I can fire up the game and only play the base game, and not. So I missed out on 2 characters on Knives Chan and
it just must eat you up inside. Like you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like 2 characters. Like, fuck.
It totally does, man. It totally does. It's one of those things. Like, I'm a completionist at heart, and for games like that where I really loved the game so much that I don't understand why I didn't buy it. I like re-downloaded it. I turned on my system and re-downloaded it again, and I was like, wait a minute. I didn't buy the DLC. What? This was about a year ago.
What happened?
What happened there? That's broke. Like, what happened? Was it between jobs? Yeah, no. So we might be getting. This is a perfect opportunity for a company like Limited Run Games or someone to kind of come in and go, we will put it out physical for you, and it'll just sell like gangbusters.
So if you want to direct your gamer rage in a certain direction, direct your gamer rage towards Ubisoft and ask them to release this game. Right? Let's put out something good as opposed to defending Epic or fighting for Apple for a bunch of billionaires to make another $1 billion, right?
Right. Ubisoft might have put out this game, but this was, I think, if I remember correctly, it was a small developer that did it for Ubisoft. That then again,
there we go.
Artists and music.
Vagabond Dog, free Scott.
Free Scott Pilgrim.
Let's do that instead.
There you go.
Let's do that instead.
There you go. Let's do that instead for sure.
It's a good way to wrap the show, right?
Yeah. Let's go check out the gameplay of that game. It's fun. Kind of get on that bandwagon.
It's just a big tease, Joe. That's all that is. Every time I see those videos, I'm like, man, I want to play the game.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah. Yep.
Good stuff, dude. Thanks everybody for watching. Vagabond, Pergami, Adam, DJ Brett did the production tonight, so thank you for producing tonight. Adam, you're always awesome. Kendo's on there.
One more thing I just wanted to put out.
No, one more thing. That's it. Just one more.
Adam put it out there, and he brought it up. This was a great little story here. You should go check this out. I'm gonna. Can you fit a whole game? A game development in general, Vagabond Dog. I'm sure if you watch this as a developer yourself. A great video. It's got over 1 million views. It came out at the end of July. An individual decides to take a challenge to try to fit an entire game on a QR code. And it's a fantastic 30-minute video on how it's done. Let's see if I can.
And you can play it on your Nokia phone, assuming
so he picks a game. He picks a game and decides to he's like, everyone does Pong, everyone does all that. He picks a snake, right? And he decides to port it. A QR code can only hold a certain amount of storage.
Mm-hmm.
So what he does is it can only hold 2.88 kilobits. Can you fit in a Star story? Yeah, you can. I mean, there are ways of doing it. But essentially, he writes the game and then he finds a way to compress it and create an EXE. And by the end here, I just without burying the lead here.
Spoilers.
I mean, obviously he does.
He does it.
he basically prints it out on a piece of paper and pulls it up to his webcam, and it automatically creates an EXE. And there it is. It's a game that controls input and all that.
So how big are viruses? I'm just wondering how we can.
Right. So he also talks about that in general. He does say like, "Hey, this is troubling. I mean, obviously, I kind of just showed you that you can do, but you would require you." He talks about this at this moment. He's pretty much saying like, "Hey, this would require you to have to download a specific program to do all of that." But the idea here is yes, QR codes are yes. QR codes have major security flaw for sure. Because I don't know about you. I mean, you probably don't, but public in general has been shown that QR codes have interesting information. So if you grab a phone and go boop, you could be out on the street, do it, and all of a sudden it could install something on your phone and maybe steal your contacts, etc. He is literally talking about viruses and whatnot through a QR code as we speak.
That was my tin hat, right? That's I immediately. So I hope this doesn't mean anything else on the internet, right? I really hope.
But the idea here is gamers in general, we are a resilient bunch. We're smart. Developers are great individuals. And seeing stuff like this makes me smile, knowing that like, hey, I made a game, but then like it's inspirational, like that personal challenge. He was like, I'm going to make this game smaller and smaller and smaller and see if I can fit an entire game on a sheet of paper.
Yeah, it's the kind of madness that makes you want to carve things into toothpicks, right? That's the kind of like crazy.
Right. Mashed potatoes and
put art on a little grain of rice. Let's go. That's what I'm doing today. You're a mad person. That's crazy.
You're a mad person, exactly. Well, that was my happy ending for the show. Like, subscribe, share. Mm-hmm. Again, we'll be back next week with episode 90, right?
Episode 90. That's a year and a half, almost 2 years we've been doing this. So thanks everyone for jumping on. Mickey Crisis. I'm Cautious on Twitter. He is Afroman on Twitter. So
we've got banners. I got banners.
There it goes, right down here. Check that out. Check us up. Like, follow, subscribe. Tell your friends. Let's chat next week.
Yep. Another episode in the can, guys.
Yeah. Be healthy. Be kind.